That's right, universe. How y'all feeling? We are here. We are ready to talk about Musikfest. Once again, this is the just I get so excited for this moment because it's like Christmas Eve. You know,
yes,
it's
oddly in Bethlehem, which makes it sort of
very biblical.
double Christmas that we have every year.
but the part of the Musikfest Exordium that we lend, hopefully some assistance on curation is this section here where we talk about some must-see bands and some best days of the festival to consider to add to your list. And as always, we are honored to have with us Chief Programming Officer Patrick.
I'm thrilled to be here. I love the intro. The music is great, and I'll have to get you an updated photo for next year. But that's
I do that's so fun though. It needs to be in that same spirit.
We have a lot of fun at the festival.
That is so true. Yeah. If I understand right, there's like pick-up basketball games.
We do. We play a lot of basketball backstage. We do, yeah.
Backstage basketballs with headliners. Hopefully, you're not doing that before they go on, because anybody could
we did get
blow an ACL
into a pretty heated battle with Duran years ago, and at one point
they played hoop like
right.
That.
They were hooping, and we had to slow it down a little bit and say, folks, we can't get anybody injured.
Yeah, no injuries,
no turned ankles.
But yes, and of course, David.
Hello.
Myself, we will, do our best to keep up with Patrick because you do this all year long. In fact, we talked about it right before coming on. You're even booking next year's festival.
Sure, yeah. 2025 has got some bands locked and loaded already. So
you can tell us all about. Oh wait,
yes, no spoilers.
That's 2 weeks.
Yes.
Bring it back in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we can start to preview some stuff. I do love that, like on the last day of the festival, the next morning or whatever, there's always the
countdown.
The countdown where it says, what does it say, 355 days?
Yep, we're ready. We're going.
It's so lovely. We've been doing our show now for a little over 2 years. This will be the third Exordium because of that. And we initially used to call this Returning Favorites because the first year we did it, we had 4 total episodes. So everyone hadn't been booked before, and so everyone was returning. But now we're lucky enough to actually have some people who have been on our show that they're coming this year, and it's their first ever Musikfest.
We discovered them from you.
Well, I won't go that far, but if that ever were to actually happen, then I will consider that a huge victory. But what I'm getting at is we had to relabel this. So this is the list of artists that have been on our show, who we now call FestFavBands. And so 24 in total.
That's terrific.
I thought
good for you guys doing the work to get these people out there to the community.
Yeah,
and the world.
That's the thing too, is it's not there's some great local bands on here, but then there's some other
There's some great internationally touring artists on here.
Yeah. Right. So we're super blessed to have that as far as our our itinerary, our lineup, our offering to you all. So this is 24 bands that if you're wanting to learn more about them, we have an interview or a performance or all of the above at nextfavband.com. And David has created a page specifically for it that if you go to nextfavband.com and you go to the Musikfest 2024 section, you can click right on the link and it'll take you right to the interview with them. So that's a nice thing, and it's something where it's just like kind of, again, when we first kind of structured this, it wasn't part of the plan. Like we didn't necessarily, we were just simply saying how many bands there are. So how many performing this year?
422.
422. It's such a fun, it's a mind-blowing number.
Yes.
Whenever I tell people who have never been here, because they'll be like, oh, you like live music? What do you like? And I'm like, I like Musikfest. And they're like, what's that? And I'm like, well, it's this 10-day festival. It's free, 400 and some odd bands every year. And they're like, how's that even doable?
And there's a person who cuts every single one of them a check. And some of them get deposits too. So that person really intimately knows the lineup.
Sure.
It's...
Yeah, and maybe give it a quick little backstory too. There's more about the programming team and how the process even works. because it is over a year long.
It is a year-long process. We're working already on 2025. We have a tremendous staff. Marissa Gariello, Shayna Super, Ali Pozak, all 3 booking, and Sturm as well in North Carolina, still booking and curating some stuff at the festival. Grace Obert, and then there's 72 staff members at ArtsQuest. Everyone contributes to Musikfest volumes, whether it's artists on a stage or food vendors or whatever it might be. And even just down to the people who answer the phones. I think they're like the heroes to me of
Sure.
Musikfest because you don't know how to get there, right? And you're stuck somewhere, and you don't know how you like all the questions that come up.
Sure.
So it
And where
takes,
to park and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
and then we also work with an almost 20-member volunteer committee that helps
neat.
us cull through over
'cause you
1,000
get
submissions.
Submissions. There's some bands you're proactively trying to book, but then there's the majority of that festival are submitted in, you're listening.
Yeah, this year 42% of the festival are new first-time artists playing
so cool.
Musikfest.
That's fantastic.
And so it is. And that number's a little larger than normal, not by any direction. It just worked out that way this year. But 42% of the festival. So that, with that, they all came from somewhere. Some of it, to your point, was us going out and saying, God, we like Shwayze is an artist that I'm going to talk about here that we know the agent. Well, actually, Preservation Hall too. We're going to talk about.
Yes.
They've played the festival before. So they're actually one of the 58% returning, but they came to us and said, "Hey, we love the festival. We want to play."
Yeah.
And so sometimes we get that. Sometimes we see someone somewhere else. Teke is an example of that we'll talk about. And then some of it is just people who submit on our website, and we listen to them and say, "This is great. We got to get them in."
Right. We need to have this happen.
Yeah.
No, it is. It's a wonderful thing, and again, you can't do it without an extremely committed team, and then the volunteers is another amazing part of it. Not only in that curation and filtering through the submissions, but also the whole festival.
All across the festival, more than 1,000 volunteers giving. I think it's something like 50,000 hours in a year to ArtsQuest year round at Steel Stacks. But in Musikfest, when you think about it, we have volunteers working almost 24 hours a day. We have Eco Squad members that are in so early in the morning to clean the sites and reset the chairs and all the stuff that has to happen in the off hours to make the on hours perfect. It's overwhelmingly humbling and amazing to see on an annual basis.
Yeah, and I've explained that to a lot of people too, again, who have never been here, friends of mine who ask about it. I'm like, it's very safe. It's extremely clean. Yeah. Like the porta potties somehow smell just as okay on the last day of the festival as they did.
Attendants.
I just can't believe it.
Bless them. I mean, that's God's work there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, kudos and credit to the team beforehand, day of, afterwards, all the volunteers, and then again, like we said, the listening public is just what makes this a very special event. So let's get into it. So what we do is the three of us, without sharing with each other until we have our list finalized, is we come up with 7 bands from the list of 422 this year that we are like
easy curation.
Yeah, it's super easy. And so often
I have the easiest one on that one probably, right?
Yeah. The one little curveball we added this year was because that list of bands that have been on the show is now becoming. I mean, 24 is not a huge percentage of 422, but it is 24 really good options that if we were to exclude them wouldn't be fair because there's definitely must-see bands in there. So we said this year, why don't we each of those 7 make 2 of them from that pool of 24 and 5 from the remainder? And so here is who we all came up with. Patrick, if you want to rip down your list there.
Sure. TIOGA. So I went with 2 locals, 2 relatively Lehigh Valley, with roots in the Lehigh Valley. At least TIOGA out of Philadelphia, just a great pop indie rock band. And then Bren, who is surging onto the music scene, just recorded a key studio at WXBN. Am I going all the way down?
You might as well just. So the next one is Preservation Hall Jazz Band, who you mentioned earlier, was the only one that was on all 3 of our lists. That's why they appear much more large.
It happened last year too. We had one band that appeared on all of our lists.
It's very cool when that happens.
It's the grand prize.
It is, right? Absolutely. And it makes sense this year. But keep going down.
That'll be a magical moment for Musikfest. So Teke is a first time playing the festival out of Montreal. They're a psychedelic Japanese garage surf rock band. 9 members, all sorts of instrumentation.
Yep.
And
a classic music fest.
It is. It is vintage music fest show.
Yeah. They were on my larger list. And
for sure.
There's part of me that is, I'll see them for sure.
Yep.
See this happen.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't necessarily hesitant. It's more of I just don't know what it is I'm going to be.
Exactly.
At its fullest extent. And that's a good and exciting thing, but at the same time, I don't want to overcommit to things.
Yeah.
Sure.
And do yourself a favor, look up what Teke comes from. It's a very, very cool backstory, a Japanese
legend,
ghost story type thing. So anyway, check that out. And
So the Dracu-La's out of Jersey City, female-fronted surf garage rock band as well. Hannah Wicklund, who's on the preview night.
Yep.
She is a gorgeous, fantastic vocal singer-songwriter.
Oh, yeah. And we're going to listen to her and also Shwayze. We're going to play some music from both of them.
Yeah, and then Shwayze, Malibu, California rapper that had the 2008 hit Breezin', and excited to have him. And almost a little reggae, a little calypso.
I mean, total like summer.
It's a vibe.
Yeah,
summer vibe.
Summer vibes, absolutely.
Yeah.
David, you want to rip down yours quick?
Sure. So returning, or I guess our FestFavBands. So Arcadian Wild, they were I guess a late announcement to the schedule, and there's one day that I cannot make it to the entire festival, and that is the day they are playing. So
but look, things. you didn't let that sway you from helping the listening public.
They're amazing to see them live. It's
Jody, and we're going to share some music from them.
Yeah, and then Knotz and Elise, who are I guess pals of the show at this point in
sure.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to define how it would work together to have a classical harpist and vocalist combined with a MC and producer who does live beat mixing on stage, but it all comes together
beautifully,
fantastically.
Yes.
Again, Preservation Hall Jazz Band. We'll talk about that, but wow, for free.
Correct.
The Dustbowl Revival, who I've seen before, paid for a ticket for seeing them before, seeing them for free. So this is exciting.
Yep.
Trying to see who else.
Melt.
So Melt is a band out of New York. They're the core of the band is a 4-member band, but they usually tour with additional musicians to fill out the sound.
Yep.
And then we have Jon and the Wreck. So full-on Southern rock band. Like you want to get your dirty, gritty Southern sound rock and roll on. This is that band. Like guitars, the drums, the organ. It's all going to be there. And then FLEECE, who are also from Canada. We've had another Canadian group appearing here. So they're a really interesting group, 4-piece. They really represent themselves a lot in both their production and their sound, as far as they're very forward about their queer presence. So they'll be a really interesting show to see. They sort of model themselves like an indie rock band. So
and 2 different nights to catch them. So that's always a good thing too. We'll get into that in a little bit later. And then real quick down mine, because we're gonna get to some of the theme of the show is get to the music, Phil. So we'll just quickly touch on this. Mike Maines and the Branches and Blair Crimmins and the Hookers, 2 of the bands that I changed my eardrums the moment I heard them, at both of them first time ever at Musikfest. Often will recommend them when someone who has heard the show or knows that I do a show like this says, well, who's my next favorite band? If I don't have enough time to chat with them, I'll pick one of those 2, because how could you not like their lineup? Preservation Hall Jazz Band, like I said, we all had it on our list. Dustbowl Revival was the other one that was on at least 2, so both David and I had them, and like David said, it's another band that I was like, holy crap, it's free. Damn Tall Buildings is going to be the one that I'm most looking forward to that I've never seen before. I don't know why or how, but it's just one of those ones that has pulled me in, and I can't wait to see it live. It's that classic bluegrass, all of them around one mic, very much like us right now. But it's just such a lovely, lovely energy that they have. I can't wait to see them. Fantastic Cat is in that same exact category of it's great energy, but holy smokes, are they funny? But it's such great music, but such comedy, and I can't wait to see that. And then Zach Person is that filthy blues. And probably my favorite sound in the world is that. If somebody can just sound like they're in their garage playing, like you had said, Southern rock,
Zach and
Southern
Robert,
blues,
both excellent choices, and good call on the, so there are 7 different countries that have a representation in the festival this year outside the United States. Canada, if I can get them all, Canada, but Brazil, Dominican, and then Italy, UK, Ireland, and Germany. But love that all comes to Bethlehem.
Yeah. It's amazing the diversity that's on these stages. What is it? It's 15 free stages and 1 paid.
Correct.
Yeah, and then like we said, 422 bands. It's an amazing. You will come down and find something that you like.
There you go.
So let's get into some examples here. We're going to start with one each of our from that pool of FestFavBands. The other thing we're going to do here is. A quick plug before we play these is if you follow Next Fave Band on any of the social medias, primarily Instagram, but we try to post to all of them. We'll be posting out there pictures and short videos of festival stuff. So as we're walking around and picking up some certain things. If you are unable to make it or unable to, like if you're coming 1 or 2 nights and you want to see, kind of catch the vibe of the other ones, it can be hopefully a good follow to kind of just, and again, you never know what band might catch your ear that you just weren't down here for. So at FestFavBand on all of the socials. Plus we also every day release a list of like 5 bands to go see that day. So it's a better, you saw on that list it was 19 total bands. That's a good place to start, but each day if you're going down, only maybe 1 or 2 of them are playing that particular day. So what I wanted to start with was some of those people who have been on the show, people who we've seen at the festival previously. And so what we did is we pulled from our archives videos of these different performers. And to start it off with a perfect song, Endless Summer, by Mike Maines and the Branches. This is from the Plaza Tropical stage in 2021. So here's Mike Maines and the Branches, Endless Summer. He's had all new music come out since this time. It's wonderful. It's in this same kind of vibe. It's a great live show. And like, he's someone who's also very open about his mental health. And he went through a very, very dark time months after this performance. And I told him this when we interviewed and we talked about it. If you check out, Mike Maines is one of the rare people who have been on the show twice so far. But he was completely open and honest about it. And in the moment, I'm piecing it together that I remember thinking about how vibrant and confident that show was.
Yeah, right?
And meanwhile, he's going through extremely dark times. And so it just is also proof that you never really know what someone's going through. So just a quick little PSA on that one is always make sure you're checking in on people. And if you want a powerful interview, go check out the Mike Maines interview from last October.
Yeah, the one you did with him was just the 2 of you at the...
we went to Ardmore Music Hall.
Ardmore Music Hall backstage is a really wonderful conversation.
Yeah.
It's extremely vulnerable.
His confidence and trust in that whole thing was pretty humbling.
Testament to you guys.
Yeah. And then he joined us for our mental health show, Listen to the Dissonance, and was the headliner for that, and it was pretty great. So amazing performer. I love everything about their catalog, and hope you join for that one. There's 2 different nights for them. It's Thursday night, the 8th, full band, and then on Friday the 9th, it's a Mike and Shannon duo show. I guess it'll be maybe a little more acoustic.
Correct.
And so definitely something to check out. So
Shannon was the keyboardist in that.
That's right, and his wife.
If that's his wife.
Mike and Shannon Maines. Sorry, I cut some corners there, but definitely worth checking out both shows because they're terrific performers. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, it also shows you the strength of the songs, how they translate in different spaces.
Yeah. So, David, next up we were going to talk about, or actually demo, the Arcadian Wild and their song "Silence a Stranger."
Sure. So, I mean, Nashville-based, we had them on the show. They were a very early interview for us. Still one of the most successful ones we've done. 4-piece. Traditional sort of bluegrass instrumentation, and it's mandolin, it's guitar, it's fiddle, it's upright bass, but not bluegrass music at all. It's more like chamber pop or something like that. Like would be closer, but their compositions are fantastic. The fact that they pull off all of this material live is sometimes mind-numbing.
Absolutely,
the harmonies and everything they do, because they all will sing. They're one of my favorite bands. I mean, I've seen them now since. So I think this is probably from the first time they were at Musikfest that you.
I think so. This is the Zinzenplatz stage.
I've seen them 7 times since then.
Wow.
So just
I think I'm like 3, but that's impressive.
Yeah, my wife loves them as well. So that is an easy sell.
Yeah,
it's an easy sell. Yeah.
So here, check out "Silence a Stranger" by the Arcadian Wild.
When she speaks, she whispers gently, never does she shout. Sometimes when I'm weary, it feels good to drown in
when we were lucky enough to interview them, I did share. I said, I hope when I pass away, I walk around in the afterlife set to the Arcadian Wild.
Their own music, right?
So they're, it's just so
If you're a fan
beautiful.
of Sufjan Stevens, right? This is
Oh,
for
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
That's totally a good example. But I mean, and they all, like David said, like they all sing, they all perform. They're just so talented, and they have done it for so long together that they really know each other. You see them like look at each other for cues and stuff, and they're magical.
And for what it's worth, they just released a new album last year, and then a deluxe version that just came out. So they're featuring a lot of the stuff from that. So exciting to get a chance to take it all in.
Yeah. So as you can see there at the bottom, Saturday, the 3rd, 6:30 on the Zinsenplatz stage.
I won't be able to be there for that.
So Patrick, you wanted to highlight Bren because, like you said before, how much of a meteoric rise she's on.
Yeah, and you have a clip of, is it Deceiver?
It's Deceiver,
okay.
yeah. And it's from when she performed Main Street last year.
Oh, great. Yeah, let's see that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, here it is.
Lift me and ask you if you're sure. I feel deceived, I feel alone, and I give you another chance for you to leave me in the cold. No one has the right thing to say. I guess that's just the price I'm gonna pay for something comfortable.
One of the things I love about Bren is her range from this very intimate that we're seeing here to a more hard-hitting, slamming approach.
Totally.
Her range is just fantastic.
And one thing I love about her is if you listen to her recorded music, it pales in comparison to what the power and the emotion that she puts into a performance.
The emotion, that's a good,
yeah. And I just think that that's something you're going to want to catch. And again, I always try and say this respectfully to because often my music that I like listening to is better live. And it's never a shot against the recording. It just speaks to the power of the performer and how they like own the moment.
That's true for much of modern music.
Yes.
Is the live.
Yep.
Like it's better to read a book than see the movie. Largely speaking, you know, it's similar. In music. Seeing it live is better.
But you can see here, actually, so that Saturday of the 3rd, you'll see Saturday the 3rd come up a lot here. 8:30 on Main Street, that will be a full band performance.
Correct.
So this same stage she's on here, but we'll have her full band with her. Then on the last day of the festival, Sunday the 11th, she'll be playing at 2 o'clock in the cinemas
It'll be more of
solo.
this look.
More of like this, yeah. Definitely worth catching.
The cinemas are nice too because it gives you a chance to get out of the August.
Well, air conditioning.
Yeah.
Comfortable chair. You have to be careful not to lounge too
Absolutely. And speaking of
Sleepy
August,
show is dangerous on that, right?
Yeah.
the music festness of all things, it is often like at 1 million degrees. Hopefully when Bobby comes on in a few minutes, we'll learn that it's not going to be like that. But I'll take that over thunderstorms. So I will always take the heat over rain. But regardless, this was a day. So one more FestFavBand we have here for you, just because I love Blair Crimmins and the Hookers enough to cheat my own rule and snooker this one in there. But love seeing him back on the stage. And we haven't shown Stadplatz yet. So I wanted to kind of give a demo of that one because it's probably the most stunningly beautiful on video.
What a backdrop.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is another stage that was added. It was there previously in the festival history, was gone for a while.
There until 2010, and then re-debuted in 2022.
Yeah. So this was last year, and it's the song Hot Damn, appropriately so, because you will see them sweating their hookers off. But here's Blair Crimmins and the Hookers with Hot Damn.
1, 2, 3, hot damn!
And this being an instrumental, we can talk over the top of it, but you can see there.
The instrumentalists feel really great about that.
I'm just saying we can add some
These
texture
people
and flavor.
sweating their hookers off.
I already
Phil, and here we
cheated.
are.
I already cheated and got us a second band in there. You guys are probably smiling at it. I'm going to probably do it again in a little bit. But anyway, Blair from Atlanta, just an incredible performer, amazing music, nothing plugged in. You know, it's just all, real instruments and real music, and it's all basically like 1920s Dixieland jazz.
Yeah, and his story on how he came to this music is worth checking the interview out because it makes you would not have picked it out of a series of Mad Libs on that. How you
No,
how you
that is
got
true.
there.
Yeah, that's a very cool story. And then when we had him on back on, he was episode 1, like he was the very first interview, even before it was called Your Next Favorite Band. And it was somewhat because I just liked his music so much that I was just like, hey, would you do an interview? And he was like, sure. He's just that nice a guy. And then so for episode 100, I was like, it makes sense to just bring back Blair Crimmins. And then he told another amazing story from his history, and he's got such a funny way about telling stories. I love listening to the guy. But definitely come down and check out Blair Crimmins and the Hookers. Sunday the 4th at 6:30 Zinsenplatz, and Monday the 5th, 7:30 Stadtplatz. So we will look just like this. And super enjoy it. And dance to his music for sure. But we're going to now move things over to the rest of the lineup. So this is now from the, so 422 minus 24 is 398. So we're going to go 398 bands that we each picked 5.
Okay.
Oh, I thought we were going to go through all 398 bands.
Let's not do that.
I feel like we're running behind on time already. You would never kill us.
We won't do that, but obviously what we're going to do is we're going to start with Preservation Hall Jazz Band, since they were on all of our lists. St. Peter Street. And it is, again, like if Blair was Dixieland jazz, this is just straight up New Orleans
jazz.
Yep. And so this was the band that I had heard. It was very much their idea to be on the free stages.
They did. They've played the festival multiple times on the main stage, and then approached us in the winter and said, "Hey, we'd love to come back." And we said, "We don't think we have anything that matches you up." And they said, "Well, what would it take to get on one of the free stages?" And a couple conversations so later, we've got him here, and looking forward to Ben Jaffe and the whole group being there on Levitt.
And so here, bask in this, and definitely whatever you can do or need to do to get there. Let's go check out Preservation Hall Jazz Band. So again, you owe it to yourself to go check this out. Not even if you'd like to enjoy this amazing music, the musicianship, and so on. But this is a world-renowned band. So like a free opportunity to go see something that is internationally recognized as being excellent.
The $60 ticket if you're in New Orleans to see Pres Hall in Preservation Hall. So
I mean, right there. So you can see that's Thursday the 8th, again, another day that keeps coming up, 9:30 on that America Platz, basically the Levitt stage. I mean, we're just stuck watching.
I have no notes.
No, right. I love when those moments happen where we're just...
Please show up.
Right, yeah.
Like, I mean, it's...
And apologies that we're just enjoying listening to. So yeah, Preservation Hall Jazz Band, the one band that was on all 3 of our lists. So that for whatever that's worth. The other band that was on more than one, Dustbowl Revival. Mm-hmm. And David, you wanted to highlight them here. The track that we're going to play is called Best Day.
Right. So this is a relatively recent Dustbowl Revival track. So they are sort of masterminded by Z Lupton, if I'm saying his last name correctly. He's sort of the person that sort of put the ensemble together, and it's sort of Americana with a soul horn section, high energy stuff. Zach or Z sings often, and then there's also another vocalist. They've had 2 female vocalists, so depending on what era you're catching tracks on, you'll pick 2 different singers.
Yep.
I got turned on to them in 2020 when they did their album called "Is It You? Is It Me?" was the album that turned me on to them, and then I've seen them perform in 21 as a paid show.
Sure.
And this is fantastic. They're coming for Musikfest. Like, I'm ecstatic.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're going to be here.
Let's enjoy some Dustbowl Revival.
and then I fell into the street. They said I hit my head so hard that I was floating in the stars. A taxi almost ran over my feet. Purple blood coming from my head. I looked up and there you were, just standing there. Love is a funny thing, it takes it all and you're back again.
Another one where like you just get lost in the melody, like it's just so good.
One of my favorite moments, we had them in, I want to say 2017, 2018-ish, in the Blast Furnace room for a ticketed show at the ArtsQuest Center. And at the end, the show ended with the horns and everything, and the guitar all in the middle of the audience, in the middle of that intimate room,
Sure.
All singing the same melody over and over again. It was absolutely gorgeous. A beautiful moment.
Yep.
Yeah, I like to think that, like, if you're a fan of like the Avid Brothers, you
Yep.
you would enjoy this show.
Sure.
Old Crow Medicine Show, like this is like you would dig this, or you like kick-ass brass sections.
Yep.
Like just come show.
Yeah.
Come to the show.
Saturday the 10th, 9:30, America Plots. You can check out Dustbowl Revival, lots of other great music of theirs. And tomorrow night, we are actually featuring our interview with Z.
Excellent.
It just kind of came up through reaching out, and they wanted to do it to kind of lead into the show. So like this being a special, episode for Tuesday night, our normal show on Wednesday is actually going to be Z from Dustbowl
terrific.
Revival. Yeah.
Great start to the fest.
Exactly right. It's a great way to feature everything. So we're now going to get into one of my picks. This is that band Fantastic Cat. This is a compliment. I couldn't find... This was the song I could find with the shortest opening because they're so funny that they write a skit for just about every one of their songs, and it's worth your time to go check it out. It's super clever. But for tonight, I didn't want it to
Very
burn
clever.
a minute and a half of something that's just comedy. So apologies to Fantastic Cat. But this one's still funny and more like 20 seconds, and then it gets into an amazing song called Later On. So check out Fantastic Cat.
You're watching the Poconos Music Station, PMS, broadcasting Eastern Pennsylvania's finest music videos 24 hours a day, 7 days a year.
Later on, when they've all gone, I'll save a seat next to me for the long ride home. And late at night, when the world is quiet, at least you'll know in the afterglow you're not alone. Isn't it just madness, the life we made? Chaos every second now, and big mistakes. I don't wanna be who they want me to be, and nobody sees me the way that I see me, like you see me.
Yeah, there's a low cut Connie. What I loved about this band that I learned in, first of all, obviously like, multiple tracks jumped off the playlist for me, but then also I learned that they change instruments while they're performing.
Yep.
And so like they'll be playing, guitar, bass, drums, and then the next song they swap around. Like it's gonna be quite a treat to check this one out.
Talented musicians, you hear the harmonies, lush sound,
Yep.
and humor along the way.
Yeah. And they really lean into the Fantastic Cat. On the same night, so they're playing Tuesday the 6th, 7:30 at Stadplatz. Attack Dog is playing, so there might be a cat and dog fight, just
I
to
didn't
give you a heads
realize
up.
the dog and cat at the same time.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
astute pickup of you.
So be careful. You got to have extra security on North
Side
Side.
of the apocalypse.
Raining cats and dogs.
There you go. So, Fantastic Cat, let's just say, are fantastic. And I hope they wear these little masks too. So, we're now getting to Shwayze.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Shwayze out of California, just this great summer sound. I think, what song do you have queued up? Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet.
Yep. Great. You'll hear it here. A great summer sound.
Here we are. Here's Shwayze. often singing about like, you know, a Corona on the beach.
Yeah.
And it fits perfectly. It's like exactly what I want when I listen to his music.
It was Shwayze was someone that we were trying to get in for Reggae Fest, but
Sure.
it didn't work out the date wise, and they said to us, another one that said we'd really love to play Musikfest. Is that
interesting.
available? And we said, well, let's see if we can make that happen, and moved a couple things around, and here he is.
Yeah, it's a great one, and it's right kind of in that midway point. Wednesday, the 7th, 9:30, Amerikaplatz. It's kind of right where you're going. All right, we'll head into the second long weekend of
there you
this,
go.
and
Yeah.
and kind of cap that night off really well with Shwayze. Enjoying that. So back around to David.
I'm glad you picked this one too. This band, they're a favorite of mine as well.
Excellent.
You can't fit all the stars in the sky right on a list.
Well, I mean,
so-
that's what I said. My big list had ones that were
Yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, almost all of the ones that were on each other's lists, like sort of make, you know,
Are on
like
the
a-
radar.
sort of like a bigger
Totally.
list. And
That's why I love that this list really works, I think, because we end up having reasons why each one of us would want one over another,
right.
but yet there's always ones like, yeah, they were really close for me too.
What this one is, I'll be seeing them.
Right, exactly.
I'll be there.
Yeah. So tell us a little more about Melt, and then we had to go with their
viral hit.
viral hit. It's not as more current, but it's so good.
So they're out of New York. The original Veronica, the vocalist, and Eric, the keyboard player, were the founders of the band. They have Marlo, she's also on guitar, and Lucas on bass, and then they supplement the band with other musicians that'll play with them, of course. So indie rock band that also has this sort of whole soul-leaning side. Veronica really has some pipes.
Sure, absolutely.
But if you're a fan of, like, say, the band Lawrence, you would really dig what they're doing.
Sure. Or I even think like early Jackson 5. Like it's like
Yo, no, absolutely.
Lawrence is a great reference. I have a playlist with Lawrence, Melt right next to each other.
there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, check out this song. It's an amazing one called Sour Candy by Melt.
Sour candy on the table. Lazy afternoons in your sweatpants, watching cable. Well, it feels so far away. All the channels seem the same. Trying to remember all the songs we like to play. 'Cause those lazy afternoons don't come so frequently these days. Oh, it's been so long, and I cannot help but wonder, are you ever coming home? I like you with your sour candy in the boathouse on the lake. Oh, but I hate the way it tastes.
This is a show that I hope that I get to see from start to finish. Like I don't know that I get to see any show in the festival from start to finish, but if there's one, this is one that I'm hoping for.
I'm really excited about them. Like, this is one of those ones that, like, it popped up on the playlist,
Sure.
and I started, like, then down the rabbit hole.
Yep.
And their original stuff is great, and that's what we really want to support. But if you want to look up a very cool arrangement, they do a fantastic soul version of Harvest Moon by Neil
Yeah.
Young that is just knock your socks off amazing.
Yeah. I hope so, like, to your point about, like, trying to get there and so on. So, like, obviously being the chief programming officer, like, that's trucking. But even for me, it's going to be a struggle to
hard,
get there.
yeah.
I almost wish there was always, like, the best of the fest, like, September, October, November, certain people
Sure.
come back around. So I'm going to wish cast that out there as an idea of, like, you know,
throw it out.
just, like, you know,
See what the cat looks up.
bring back, like,
Yep.
you know, bring back the ones that had, like, the most, you know, you could tell the audience was there. It drew people in, like, you know, like those
and you'll
music
see us
fest
do
moments.
that year to year. If we just had a couple weeks ago at Levitt, Happy Landing, who had played Music Fest 2 years ago.
Right.
They were even better the other night at Levitt. You'll see them, I'm sure, if next year or the following.
Sure.
You know, we really do try to do that where we get bands like this that are just terrific, and we try to bring it back as quick as we can.
Yep. So there they are, Sunday the 4th, 7:30, Amerikaplatz. And probably the only thing that's going to get me to struggle to be there is those north-south transfers, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, that it might be a little bit easier this year. But it is always just it's just, even though it's all super close, it's just not a walking type thing, and so you can rely on some of the other transfers that are out there. But there's Melt. Super awesome music to enjoy. Same thing happened to me on this next band. So I went down the rabbit hole on Damn Tall Buildings. And every song just got better and better, especially the live versions that they have. Their YouTube channel has a lot of their live stuff, and that was where it really popped. So I have an example here of the recorded video of this song. Later on, you're going to see a little bit of a peek into it, that same song, the live version of it, and you'll see, again, the energy that comes along with it. I just think so. They're from Brooklyn, but they don't sound Brooklyn. They're like this, again, bluegrass, fiddle, guitar, stand-up bass, and I just can't wait to see them perform. And I'm I want to hopefully bring them on the show. That's my little other wish cast. Let's hope that the Damn Tall Buildings wants to come on and do an interview. But here, enjoy "What a Nice Life" by Damn Tall Buildings.
Life we once had. Moon hit the sun, life for living's been a drag. Oh, but just like a feeling there it hung. A fractured clip, a grain of piss blowing air back in your lungs. Heard you out there singing, can't be sure. Well, I heard the breath breathing brought you back to where you were, where that cool breeze blowing kept you high. Swear I saw the sunshine little shimmer in your eye. Not sure who I'm
Another band that you can tell has character and has a blast doing what they do, and then still are just insanely talented.
Yep. We have a lot of you picked up on a lot of that in the show this year. I think the festival has a lot of characters. This year.
What I don't think, and again, this is speaking to the respect of beautiful recording, lovely song.
Sure.
But when you hear the live one later, it's like a non-stop onslaught. You can see there's almost no break in those vocals. And when you watch that live and it just keeps coming and coming and coming, I just smile. Like I'm like giddy listening to their music. And I'll be that much giddier with a mug of beer in my hand. But I just can't wait to see this. I just think they were my favorite find of this so far. And then I'm pretty confident they won't disappoint live.
Yeah, most people with bluegrass level chops hit it.
Yeah.
Totally.
When they're live, it's better because that's you just turn on the afterburners.
So there they are. So on Saturday the 3rd, there's 2 chances to see them. They play at 3 o'clock on Zinsenplatz, and then again at 7 o'clock on Laterplatz. So there is Damn Tall Buildings. Patrick, you're going to wrap us up here with Hannah Wicklund.
Sure. Hannah from South Carolina is, we had mentioned she's playing on preview night. Her backing band is the rhythm section for Greta Van Fleet, which her partner is the, right? Yeah. You got some serious musical chops there. Her partner is the bass player for Greta Van Fleet. So a little bit of a connection there, and excited to have her on Thursday, August 1.
Yeah, and fellow Disney fan, this song takes off like the rock and roller coaster. It's like 3, 2, 1, see you later at 60,000 miles an hour. So here, enjoy Bomb Through the Breeze, Hannah Wicklund.
Straight ahead rock and roll, the way it's supposed to be, right? I mean,
This is the just put it right in my veins type of music. And this is what we start off with. This is preview night. This is I call it day zero. It's like hasn't quite started yet, but holy shit!
You're gonna feel it that night.
Right, and the Galen Deary, and the reason why is earlier that day, the beaches opened for Greta Van Fleet, and then Hannah Wicklund. I'm like, whoa, like it could have been picked as best day of the fest, and it technically doesn't even count. Like,
0.
Yeah, so day 0, Thursday the 1st. So don't go down Thursday the 8th to go see Hannah. You'll miss it by a week. So Thursday the 1st, 9:30, America Plots. Yeah, it's basically 2 days away. Yeah. Unbelievable. What a great get. I don't care if it was because Greta Van Fleet was booked. Whatever. I hope Greta Van Fleet got booked because you had gone after Hannah Wicklund.
That's right.
That's what I would do. Holy smokes, that's amazing. And then, since I like cheating against my own rules, I wanted to bring in one more because I figured if you might start your whole fest with Hannah Wicklund, you might end your fest with Zach Person. And I think he's worth just spending a little bit of time with. You had mentioned that as well.
Absolutely, yep.
Yeah. So this is his song called Muddy Water. Again, talk about filthy blues guitar. Take a listen to Zach Person. I think this would be a solid closer to the fest.
Absolutely. That'd be a great night on the final night.
Yeah. And then you can always like sneak up and catch the end of Billy Bauer's Dave Matthews Band tribute and
going on
watch
that
the
night
fireworks.
too,
Yeah. But Zach Person, another one I was thrilled to learn about this year. It's amazing to find year after year brand new music you never heard before.
Sure.
That's this good. Like everything we just shared, most of it I had never heard up until 2 months ago.
Literally our job.
Yeah, right.
So glad we're doing it well.
I was just going to say, let's go back to that list of people that we just mentioned earlier.
Yeah. Sure.
Did all that hard work.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, so
we appreciate it.
Definitely don't sleep on Zach Person at the close.
Now it's all in Mother Nature's hands.
That's so true.
Yeah, we'll find out about the weather.
That's coming up next.
Couple of minutes away, we're going to spend some time here. The one thing we wanted to do that we always like to just help somebody out is sometimes they only have childcare needs or whatever where they can pick one day to go down, and that can be flexible perhaps.
Sure.
So what we thought is, and we've done it each year, each one of us will pick what we think is, if you could only have one day, which day is it? Yeah. And so, David, you're going to kick us off because it's opening day.
Yeah, so this year I picked the 2nd of August, which is the actual official first day, not this preview night thing we've been talking about.
And while he's chatting, I'm going to go to the Musikfest site, musicfest.org.
So 2 of my picks are on that night,
Nice.
both FLEECE and Robert Jon and the Wreck. But other ones worth paying attention to, prior guest of our show and fantastic performer, Dirty Dollhouse is also playing that night. Also, Jack Wharf and the Tobacco Flats is playing.
Yeah. Who will be a guest earlier that day on the daily live stream.
They're going to be great.
Yeah.
It's like literally the Tobacco Flats. I mean, it is like smoke-soaked.
Totally.
Like
absolutely
raw country blues kind of stuff. And then there's a band. I'm excited earlier in the day. So this is that I kind of try and build in some of these touchstone points for me. This is how my schedule. I try and like points it out. I want to see that and then wander some. So I think New Enemies sounds are actually really interesting. They're playing at 5:30.
I love their sound.
Yeah,
love their sound.
So that's probably where my Friday will start with them, and then it'll be this sort of meander until I get to these other things that I want to see. But you get the first day. You're kicking off.
Yep.
You're full on festing that day. Like, put the corn in your face, get a mug in you full of beer, and like take it all in and hope that Mother Nature has delivered a kind weather environment.
I tell you what else on that day is the Groove Merchants play that Stodplots. It's become almost a tradition now. They do their 9-piece, which is backup singers. It's the Hammond organ. It's the whole thing. And I tell you what. Go find a better time than the Groove Merchants at Musikfest.
If you like soul music,
that's
straight up what you're going to get. I mean, you like old school soul music. It is straight up old school soul music, and it's fantastic.
Absolutely. So one thing we kind of wanted to point out here is there is a Musikfest app, and you may have either already downloaded it or heard about it before. I would suggest highly that you download it. Did a little bit of a kind of a screen recording here of what I have done for opening night. And so this is my personal kind of picks. So what you do is in this app, you would go in that upper left corner, you hit line up and schedule. And this is my already curated list. You would go through and you would be able to pick bands and trigger them. And then this is like your own list to know where you want to go on certain days. So there's this version of it. The one thing I wanted to point out that you may not know, even if you do have the app already, upper right corner, if you click that, it shows you almost like the calendar version of it, so that you can see where your conflicts are and you can see, how you're going to navigate it. One thing here is you might have fun just simply going to America Plots and you go Dirty Dollhouse, FLEECE, Robert, Jon the Wreck. Can't go wrong, and you don't have to walk anywhere.
Yeah,
if you do the Phil version of this, you're going to try and do
both sides of the river.
Right. Yes. New Enemies to Dirty Dollhouse, back to the Tribe, then over to the Groove Merchants, and then Jack Wharf and the Tobacco Flats, then over for Robert, Jon, and the Wreck. I can sacrifice FLEECE because they're playing the next night.
Right.
And I can go catch them on Saturday. But I love that feature because it really shows you where you have your oh crap moments of I don't know how I'm going to split myself in three.
It also gives you an idea. You get to see who is getting saved on people's schedules as far as the number of saves. So you get an idea of the sort of like
what the interest level is.
The interest level is as things are starting to pick up.
Yeah. So I'm going to go to my day is that next day. So my pick for best day of the festival is the 3rd. So this opening weekend, but the Saturday. And what I was going to share with everyone was normally when I trigger the bands I want to go see on a given night, it could be anywhere from 5 to 7, like typically, and 2 that are like absolute definite not misses, 2 that are probably definitely somebody I want to check out, and then these like kind of more wild card variables. There's 14 bands on Saturday the 3rd that was me triggering saying, hey, I'd like to go see them. 7 of them are FestFavBands, which means they've been on the show. So like that's amazing. And so rather than panic, I just embraced it and I just said, you know what, let's turn it into a fun contest and see. So I actually put together a quick little video of 20 seconds per song it's actually only 12 of the 14 made it here because either I couldn't find it or it's a band I know I won't be able to get to just out of logistics. But here's, and again, I kind of plussed my own version of the show. Here is Best Day of the Fest, Saturday the 3rd. And we'll talk over it a little bit because I want to be able to announce it on top of the music.
Plugs for things.
You're gonna tell Bobby we're not gonna have time for him.
That's right. So the day starts with Pepperwine at 1:30. That's what makes it somewhat plausible. So 1:30 Zinzenplatz, Pepperwine. And then really like the sound of this band. Close Drive. Yeah.
I think they're quite good.
So we luck out. They only play for 40 minutes, so if we can get there, we fit that one in between 2 and 2:40.
They were booked by one of the high school classes that we.
That's right.
That was my guess with this
They can pick some great stuff.
They always pick great
The
stuff.
last 2 years, I picked stuff from.
So here's the live version of Damn Tall Buildings. Same song we played earlier. My hope is to pick them up between 3 and 4 in Zinzenplatz. I do have a chance to pick them up later if I happen to miss that. You could got a backup plan.
You always need a plan B.
Okay.
Yeah. We have a plan. Our plans are pretty easy.
Then we actually do a north side to south side shift. This is the one of 2 we'll be doing. Here's Roy and the Secret People, 4:30 to 6 on that community stage, the town hall stage. Amazing live performer. I don't want to miss this. He was part of our Next Fave Band Presents show back in June. And that was an acoustic, but this will be the full band and it's so fun to watch him perform. This one has also got to be booked by one of the high schools. Witten Existing.
Oh, yep.
He's 6'40".
This one I can want nobody to play on stage.
Yes.
You don't become more of a one man band.
Yep.
It's like,
It'll be a ton of fun. And then here's Elias Hicks. It'll be a little bit of a slowdown.
you need those.
Might,
catch your breath.
might be able to hydrate, have some food. 6 to 7 on stod plots. And this is about the halfway point, believe it or not.
Well, you want to borrow my hydration?
I might need electrolyte gummies. This sounds amazing. I can't wait to touch that. I just will apologize ahead of time, Elias. I gotta go run to see Arcai now, who are playing. Let's see. I think they're 6:30 to 8.
Correct.
6:30 to 8 on Main Street.
And they were on the live streams you did last year.
And they
Such a unique sound. Unique show.
so cool.
Or modern classical for that. There's a different.
Totally. And then check this out. Who's playing at the exact same time? The Arcadian Wild. Like,
Good luck with that.
right? It's like, oh my god, the sheer brilliance that's going on at the same exact time. 6:30 to 8 also is in the butts, but let's put that 30 or 40 at each spot.
He gets up 20 seconds to 20 minutes long. Put on.
Listen, but it still shows their brilliance.
Second voice, it is another choice and work my life.
And then here's I can pick up FLEECE on Saturday, 7:30 to 9. That spot. Here's the full band Bren, Main Street 8:30 to 10. This is where probably I can start to feel a little more comfortable. My goal might be to get to 10 of the 14. I'd consider that a win. This is lucky. I luck out here because Bren's on Main Street, and the next one is Billy Bauer. These are later ones. They're like steps away from each other.
This is a Billy band.
Yes. This night, Saturday of opening weekend, will be a Billy Bauer set. Of course, we'll probably do some covers, but it'll be mostly the original stuff, like with the. And then, if we are still breathing and we can get to Southside, we can go catch Igor and the Red Elvis, which is a fantastic
You
way
haven't seen him before, though.
to finish him. Right, yeah, right, exactly. That might be where I'll just apologize to Igor if I don't make it there, but I am going to try and make it happen.
Has he been on the show?
He has been. Last year. Yeah. That was where we learned he actually won Star Search.
Yeah, talk about a character.
Oh, no smokes. Yeah, he was great. But yeah, if anybody wants to join me on this, send us an email or shoot us a DM, and we'd love to have like a crew of people who are running around Musikfest that day trying to get to 10 plus bands that are all extremely worth it. So yeah, there is Igor and the Red Elvises that will close out Saturday the 3rd of opening weekend. I kind of no better way to do it. Like Igor is a great way to close things out.
It's a total Musikfest experience. Like the or like.
Absolutely. So now we will go to Patrick, your best day of the fest.
So
Did
third,
you bring your produced video?
I don't have 20 seconds. The Thursday, August 8th, I'm such a big fan. Headlined by Preservation Hall, who we all had, we talked about.
Yep.
Teke is before them that night.
Website again.
And before that is DJ Spooky, who's really a thought leader.
That was on my very short. I literally said it to Phil's honorable mention was that I want to see what this presentation is going to be.
Arctic Rhythms performance with Lehigh University string faculty. So you have strings underneath his electronic sounds. There's a video component to it.
Let's also mention Ruby Deer.
So I'm getting.
Please go ahead.
It's my day.
All right.
We sat through the videos. I didn't get that opportunity. So I just again want to highlight on the Levitt, you go from this DJ and string orchestra to a 9-piece Japanese psychedelic pop rock group from Montreal to the Preservation Hall Jazz Band, all back to back to back.
And it makes perfect sense.
Only in Bethlehem, right, during Musikfest.
Oh, awesome.
And then the rest of the festival is happening too. And so it's a huge day for local regional artists at the festival.
Yep.
You have Ruby Deer and Slingshot Dakota. You have Melody Cruz. You have Pentley Holmes. Billy Bauer, I think, is playing that day.
Emma Backrath.
Yep. So then additionally, you have other great artists coming in, including Hans William is that day.
Mike Maines.
Mike Maines has one of his 2 sets. So it's a day that really is loaded. And I didn't even get to some of the... people love Scythian. People love who's at Festplots that night? It's a party band that at Garden State Radio that everybody loves.
Yep.
It's a loaded day across the festival.
Yeah, and then that night is the drag show.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
which is amazing.
Cafe.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you are.
Thursday, they threw a heater right over the plate at us. You're deep in the count.
Yes.
You're not sure what's going to happen, and the pitcher just goes, shakes everything off, goes right down the middle.
There you go.
Thursday was very close for me too, but again, the universe kind of just laid it out so beautifully. Where David said Friday, I said Saturday, you said Thursday the 8th, and boom, we were off to the races. There you have bands to consider. You have a best day of the festival to consider. But
thanks for having me. Thanks for all you guys do to help evangelize the stuff that's going on across the stage.
Thank you. I mean, you can't tell you how much it means to us that you join us for this and you spend time with us. Which, obviously, we pre-recorded because you're super busy closer to the festival. But it's still a super busy time year round, especially in that whole month leading up to. So, can't thank you enough for that. And honored to have you. And happy festing.
Looking forward to it.